all the way from Hong Kong, early in the morning, very early in the morning, Alain. Thanks for being on.
Hi there. So I'm actually slightly above Hong Kong. I'm in Shenzhen, which is not in quarantining. So it's really nice. We get to go out and that. And our VC firm actually has a really cool office here with testing equipment. They even have tanks for underwater robots and swimming pools and lots of cool stuff here. So yeah, happy to be with you guys.
Excellent. Well, put on share screen and go ahead and get started.
Yep. Can you guys see? This is the sharing screen one, right? Yeah, I'm sharing this one. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you make it can you put it into, yeah, there you go.
There we go. Okay, perfect. So there's a video that plays at the beginning. I'm not certain if this will play, but if it doesn't play, let me know and we'll just skip that.
"86% of maintenance is scheduled unnecessarily or too late. We want this waste to stop. We built Symphony. Our solution is plug and play, attached magnetically to any machine, and the status can be viewed from anywhere. We focus on simple insights for real managers, showing you overviews and solutions, not raw data. And we tie this together with a logbook. Say goodbye to paper. Say goodbye to unplanned downtime. Say hello to Industry 4.0. Know when your machines are going to fail and use data to make more efficient decision making. Say hello to simplicity. Say hello to Symphony.
So what we're doing is predictive maintenance through both an IoT vibration sensor and machine learning. So our system is really simple and plug and play to use. So step one, you attach this to machines. Step two, you can start gathering insights. When we look at our team, we have the founding team concludes of myself, Dr. Ludwig Kendall, Owen Chewy, and Steve. We all have a lot of great experience working from companies like Philips, IMEC, Siemens, and a lot of industry experience, as well as Dr. Ludwig's PhD is in machine learning. Steve went to Harvard and also did his master's degree in machine learning. So we have a lot of market experience in there. When we look at the market, we see this as a $1.2 trillion to $3.4 trillion market. So we've gone on the conservative side of that by 2025. So this is a great blue ocean opportunity that we're getting into. And this is a largely untapped market. Only about 10% of people are using predictive maintenance to try to understand their machines. Our solutions cross verticals, so we can work in lots of different verticals. Essentially, any machine that has moving parts that deteriorates and degradates over time, we're able to analyze where in the life cycle it is on that machine. So why will customers buy predictive maintenance? When we look at the potential failure curve, we can see at the audible noise level, when you start hearing machines are breaking, this is when the cost is quite significant. From our research, there was a petrochemical explosion costing $3 million in damages. They hired Rockwell Automation to come in, look at what happened, look at all the data. They realized when looking at all the data that one bearing had been failing for 3 months and no one had checked it. And as a result of that one bearing failure, it caused a knock-on effect of $3 million worth of damages and downtime in that explosion. So some of the example failures we can do are like bearing, lubrication, misalignment, and so forth. Some of the great advantages we can do is cut outages. So by cutting outages, we can increase production, and we can also reduce maintenance cost. And I'll go into that a little bit. So the current system is people check things on a regular or time-based interval. So you can see here checking maybe 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks in those white lines on the second picture. If you do that, you miss the sort of degradation and damage that you would have seen. And this is real data that we collected, which leads to 86% of all maintenance being scheduled either unnecessarily or too late. So we've got a lot of traction. We won TechCrunch 2019. We also won the global startup competition for Shenzhen. We also were at IoT, Microsoft IoT World as well. So why will customers buy our solution? Customers will buy our solution because good design is as little design as possible. So when we look at the competition, I like to use the example of the weather. So if I ask, is it going to rain in Taiwan? And then I show you this weather chart. Maybe you have a sort of knowledge of weather chart. Maybe you can try to understand the different colors, the different things to understand that. And if I ask you if it's in the next 20 minutes, maybe you can understand it from here. But if we look at something like the Apple Weather app, they've taken those charts and simplified that down to simple data that says there's a 60% chance that it's going to rain in the next 20 minutes. And I even have a little icon or emoji to tell me that it's going to rain. So it makes my decision-making really simple and really easy for managers to simply look at and see where we're at. So when we have a look at what's on the market, and we take a few of these companies. So Ron's is the leading company here in China. Their system is not so simple, right? You've got kind of waveforms here. You need to understand how waveform analysis works. When we look at some of the US companies or Israeli companies like Augury, we're looking at some regression analysis lines, and it's not so simple, right? Getting those waveforms is actually fairly easy. That's kind of the first level when trying to build a device. So these are some waveforms that we've collected. And unless you've underdone some kind of predictive maintenance analysis, these waveforms are potentially hard for you to read. But with our system, we can tell you that first waveform is looking at an inner coil that has about 45% remaining useful life and about 4 weeks. So if you're using a third-party contractor, they're telling you that your machines are potentially about to fail, and you say the shaft, okay, I agree that that needs to be replaced, but maybe the rotor winding can get replaced a little bit later. So we can get real insight into how this is done. You can kind of learn predictive maintenance through reading these kind of books. This is one of 4 books that you would have to undergo during a training to understand this. So instead of making engineers and selling to engineers like our competitors are, we're trying to create a really simple, easy to use solution. So we're not selling to the engineers, we're selling to the management, which is why we've created, instead of text and things, easy to use information, green icons everywhere. Managers love green icons. We've created logbooks that are multi-language. And then we've had some great case studies, which we can go into if anyone was interested later in the cosmetics industry. We've got plug and play solutions, our system architecture. This is our device showing it working. This is showing potential issues. So if somebody was working on that machine, they would know that there was a potential issue there. So I think that's my 7 minutes up.
Okay. Thanks, Alain. Questions, please, for Alain. Use the Q&A at the bottom of the bar. Well, I have a question for you. How did you arrive at the shape of the bubble that fits on top of the machine, Alain?
So
it's kind of a very Dalek or something looking kind of a thing, huh?
Yeah, so we're really actually happy with the design that we did. We looked at what other people were. Maybe I can get back to that picture. Nope. Here. Yeah, so we looked at what Augury and what Rons and other people were creating, and they were just creating a simple stem, and they had no light on top of it. And inside our pilot customer, we were realizing that if somebody's working on a machine inside a sort of punching factory to make boxes for a high-end cosmetics company, they're not going to work on a machine where they're flashing red lights on top of it. So we feel that other competitors were losing that opportunity to create a warning and an alert thing more valuable than a sort of web app or some kind of Windows app in the head office somewhere far away. If you see a light right in front of you and you see that flashing, you're going to ask your manager, is everything okay with this machine? He's going to look at it and say, oh, wow, you're right. We need to add some lubrication. If we didn't add some lubrication, we would damage the shaft. So thanks for letting us know. And now we've helped prolong the life of this machine.
We're getting a few people that are raising their hands as part of it. Please just go ahead and continue to type your questions in the Q&A box. Thanks.
I have another question for you, Alain. What are the limits to platforms where failure can be detected? Does it have to be a machine with moving parts? What about structural failures and non-moving parts?
So at the moment, we can only do moving parts. So at the moment, we're using ultrasonic and sonic vibration analysis using both MEMS and piezoelectric sensors. So from the technical perspective, basically we can see a very high and a very low frequency, higher than the other products on the market, which gives us a broader range. But again, we can only at the moment see things that are physically moving because we're essentially listening to the machine. And if the machine isn't making any noise, then it's difficult for us to analyze.
Okay. Another question. Does the software integrate into existing or legacy building automation systems? Can a customer have existing control system? Can it be overlaid or integrated?
Yeah. We can export that data out into any kind of system or anything that you're working. So we can work on kind of two models for this. So one is plug and play. So you simply attach our sensor. We can ship this out to you. They can use the existing NB-IoT networks. So you don't even need to use gateways or setup. Attach this to your thing and see the information on the iPad app. Alternatively, if you were looking to try and integrate this as well, or just only integrating, we can use the API to export the data out into some kind of other system.
Alain, is this already ruggedized, or do you have another ruggedized environmental one that's for more severe environments?
So this one at the moment is fairly ruggedized, but where the actual internal components of this, we're only using a fraction of the space of this device. So we could ruggedize this more easily. And inside our current VC firm, it's the leading hardware accelerator here in China. So they have a lot of engineers and teams, and we have PCB fabs here, CNCing machines and so forth. So we can rapidly prototype out new PCB boards, new CAD designs, new CNCs of models within a few hours to a day. So it's really great for us to rapidly build things. So if there was certain needs or certain things that customers were looking for, we're working with an MTR customer. So again, they're looking for a sort of reasonably rugged solution. This one works well for them, but if there was a more extreme environment, we can easily build something out fairly rapidly.
And what about weatherproofing and outside equipment?
Yep, so that was really important to us, and also temperature. So being able to gauge the temperature. So if we making it waterproof and making it this is actually fairly easy. What we found was slightly more complex, was being able to get accurate temperatures outside. So if it's snowy outside, how can we get the temperature of that machine without reading the sort of snowy outside. So our dome gets some snow on top of it. How do we not end up reading the snow and end up reading our dome? So we've come up with an innovative way of collecting that data through a sort of proprietary way inside our hardware.
Excellent. I have time for maybe one more question for Alain. If anyone's got any questions, this is your opportunity to type it in. Going once, going twice. All right. Alain, thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you.